Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 33 of the Geek Press podcast. On this week, we explain why we didn't record an episode last week. We talk about LA Comic Con, which was actually last week. We catch up, and we just talk a lot about DC, about James Gunn potentially canceling pretty much everything. And we talk about my experience at the Game Awards and why I love gaming so much. I hope you guys enjoy this episode because me and Noah had a blast catching up and we had a blast recording. And if you're listening on YouTube, please be sure to like and subscribe. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please be sure to give us a good 5-star review and follow us. And if you're listening on Spotify, please be sure to subscribe and give us a good 5-star review. It'll help us climb the top of the charts. But with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoy episode 33 of the Geek Press podcast. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Luis Gutierrez, and welcome to episode 33 of the Geek Press podcast. As always, I'm joined by my co-host Noah Garcia. But before we get this episode started, we didn't do an episode last week because we are just some busy bees. We are busy adults, and we will get into that why we didn't. But without further ado, Noah, how's your week been? I know we've both been doing a lot as of late. You got your own adventures that you've been on, and you got your own stuff you've been doing. So catch me up on life.
Everything's been good. Everything's been all right. It's just been busy because even though you're like a young professional excelling in your field, I'm just a lowly little college student.
And don't you ever
Uh,
fucking forget it.
Ignore the fact that I'm older than you, but I'm just a lowly little college student twiddling my thumbs. And finals hasn't been necessarily hard. It's just been a lot to deal with. So, essays and writing. But what's great about not really taking the general eds and just focusing on like the major specific stuff is that we don't really have tests. We more so have projects to turn in.
It's just a
So,
vibe, you know? Like we just kind of
mhm.
go in and we just like relax. And if like
Never
my
mind.
my
Fuck.
zen, my zen needs to be aligned with my chakra.
Well, honestly, the teacher will come over with a crystal, and if it turns black, then I fail the class. So
Really
I gotta be zen
really
the entire
quick,
time.
really quick. I'm jumping the gun. I'm jumping the gun to this topic, but you just reminded me of something, okay?
Shoot me in the face.
Um when I was at the after party for the Game Awards,
Mhm.
I was talking to this PR guy and he was like, "Yeah, I live it was like somewhere in Ohio or so I forget where. It was like middle America, you know?" And
Ohio doesn't exist.
and he was like, "Yeah, I live over there, and I have a degree in communications, blah blah blah." And I looked at him, and I was like, "Bro, isn't a communications degree so fucking easy?" And he was like, "Bro, you're stealing that shit. It's so easy. I love it because it's just the easiest degree ever." And we were just laughing about how easy it is to get a communications degree. I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
No, it's not the, like, most taxing thing in the world, it's just a lot of work that you have to
Yeah,
put in. Mhm.
you just
Uh,
reminded me of that. I'm sorry. Continue though.
no, it's okay. Uh, as I know we usually go, like, "What are we listening to? What are we
Yeah.
watching?" The main thing I've been watching is, there's this anime that just dropped on Netflix. It's an adaptation of a manhwa, which is like a Korean manga, and it's on Webtoons. But the adaptation it's for a story called Lookism, where it's like bullying is like a big thing in South Korea apparently,
Hmm.
where it's like a national thing they're like trying to work on.
I've heard about
So,
that actually.
mhm.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So this manga is about like this kid, this fat, chubby, like small, nerdy kid who's not even like brilliant. He's like average intelligence, so he has nothing really going for him
Okay.
aside from his heart. And he is like physically and mentally bullied by his classmates every day. And then one day he wakes up next to a body next to him, and the body's
Oh
like
no.
they look like a K-pop star,
Uh-huh.
like muscles, abs, and like whenever he goes to sleep, he switches with that body.
Oh.
So, like, he can go to school and be like, "This is who I am, who's projecting. What can I what how does my good looks now affect the people around me? What can I do with this?" And he, like, learns lessons. And it's only 8 episodes. It's like they're trying to see what the audience reception is.
Mhm.
I think it's pretty good. I enjoy it. Shout out to my sister for getting me into that, on Webtoons because I'm a Webtoons crazy. Not really. But, aside from that,
You're a
I've been lis
Webtoonian?
I'm a Webtoonian, yeah. I like that's just like a '60s comic book name for like an alien. A Webtoonians, watch out. But
We're the Webtoonians. We're coming to
my
destroy.
opinion, you can't defeat us now, Superman. But as for what I've been listening to, there's this guy Joey Valance and Bray. They're this rap duo that do like Beastie Boys type sound, but like
Were they on
from modern
TikTok?
era.
Did they like blow up on
They
TikTok?
are.
Okay, yeah,
They
yeah,
did.
yeah, yeah. I think I know what you're talking
And
about.
my Apple Music just alerted me that they just dropped a new single called Club Sandwich, and I think everyone should go blast it.
I think
Go give them that like.
if we're thinking of the same people, yeah,
Mhm,
I found them on TikTok and I know
mhm.
one song of theirs and I don't know the name at the top of my head, so it's not helpful. Continue.
Is it the one that's just like, "Who's got the high ground now, Obi-Wan?"
Yeah, 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 that
Yeah,
one.
yeah. That's like I think that's called Jump Tactics, but I don't remember the actual name. But they're fun. They're fun to listen to.
Uh-huh.
But, Lewis, what have you been listening to? What have you been watching? What have you been up to?
So I think you failed to mention Comic-Con, but we'll get to that.
Oh my god, right, I went to LA Comic Con.
You want to hit on that because I know
I
you went to go help a friend
You know
like
what?
do their
You know what?
panel.
You talk about what you've been watching and listening, and then we'll reconvene and talk about both our Comic Con
Okay,
experiences.
I've been watching a lot of Inside Job.
Mhm,
Um, so if you don't know what Inside Job is, they released a new season maybe not that long ago on Netflix. And so pretty much it's like you know that the whole conspiracy theory like the Illuminati rules the world and there's a deep state yada yada yada. Um, it's like kind of like a Rick and Morty-esque adult cartoon where it's like that's actually a thing, but the deep state is run by a bunch of morons and they're all just like imbeciles. And it's like it's a lot of fun, you know. If you watch it, it's like the Illuminati's beefing with like all these other people, and then like it follows this corporation called Incognito, and all they do is just try to like rule the world, but like straight up like fuck up everything in the process, like of what they're doing, you know. And it's a lot of fun. I'd recommend watching it to anyone. But I've been watching a lot of that, and just yesterday, my girlfriend, the Judas she is, broke my heart. Um, we've been going through Breaking Bad, right? I've literally sat her down and I'm like, "You're gonna watch this."
Oh my
Um,
god.
turns out when you force someone to do something they don't want to do, they don't really enjoy it as much as you would think they would.
Mhm, that's why I don't like Hamilton.
And so then what had happened was I was asking her because we're now in the final season of Breaking Bad, and I was like,
Mhm,
okay, after this we're gonna watch El Camino because I've never seen El Camino, and which is like the movie that takes place right after Breaking Bad, and then I was like, then after that we're gonna watch Better Call Saul, which is like a prequel to Breaking Bad, and and I asked her, I was like, so what do you think? She was like, you want my honest opinion? And I was like, fuck you. And she just started laughing. She was like, "It's cool. It's a good show, but I don't think it's like God's gift to television like you do." And I was
yeah, it's like it's entertaining, but not the
and
best.
she was like, and it like towards the other day, I was like, "You ready to start Better Call Saul?" And she looked at me. She was like, "We're still doing that?" And I'm like, "Oh, what?" And it just opened this whole conversation. I was like, "You," that's why I was like, "You Judas, you just backstabbed me." She was like, "I'm watching this because you want to watch it." She was like, "I'll watch El Camino, but I don't know if I want to sit through a whole nother like TV series of this." And I was like, "Why? Why you got to do this to me?"
You know what? That's true love to watch a TV show or something that you just don't care about, but you do it for your partner,
Yes.
and I love that. That's very funny.
So yeah, that's what happened right there. The Judas she is just betrayed me, and but yeah, we're on the final season of Breaking Bad. But I'm really excited to go back and watch El Camino because when
Mhm,
the movie originally came out, correct me if I'm wrong, but this was like years after the show was done, and I went back and watched it. She was the one who told me it came out back in the day. That's how long
mhm,
we've been together, and I watched it and I was like, "Who are these guys?" Because it picks up like right where the show ends,
mhm.
and I was like, "Who are these guys? What's going on?" And I was so confused because I didn't remember anybody. And but I'm a huge Breaking Bad fan, so I'm excited to go back and actually watch it with like refreshed knowledge of who everyone is. But yeah, that's just been my week. I just to kind of like talk just a little bit. Obviously, last week we both went to LA Comic Con. We went we
Mhm.
we we went on separate days. So that's why we
Mhm.
didn't record. And then this week I went to the Game Awards, which I will touch on later. Um,
But should we get into LA Comic Con?
yeah, we had two different experiences.
Mhm,
You went on Saturday, which is like
mhm,
usually for people who are unaware, Comic Cons are usually Friday, Saturday, Sunday, unless
mhm.
it's like San Diego Comic Con or like New York. I think those ones is like Thursday through Sunday. It's like a whole week
Yeah.
essentially. But like the smaller cons is always a weekend. Eh,
Yeah, and I would say if you've never been to a con, I would say LA Comic Con is a good place to start because it's a lot smaller than San Diego, it's not as overwhelming. There's, like, individual niche panels, like, you're not gonna see anything too crazy, like, of course, it's gonna be busy because people wanna go, but I feel like it's not as overwhelming as, like San Diego, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. And yeah, but you go first because you went on Saturday, and Saturday's
Mhm.
usually the day to go. That's like the most busiest day.
Yeah.
And I went on Sunday. So you wanna take it away?
I went on Saturday because, my not biological father, Diego Crespo, who, runs a podcast with my good buddy Gina Versa. I'm just gonna
Oh,
like
that reminded me.
uh-huh.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, that's
Just
okay.
remind me to bring up G4 when I
Okay.
talk about the
Oh my
after
god, I'm
party.
gonna cry, I'm gonna cry. Poor G4 employees. They run a podcast called The Waffle Press, and they are doing, like, a panel on, like, Christmas movies, how to define one. Like, for instance, there was a discussion on whether or not Nightmare Before Christmas is a Christmas or Halloween movie. They said Christmas, I say Halloween. You know, we can differ. But basically, I went to go run the camera for them for their thing, and in return for running that camera, they gave me an industry pass, so I was able to walk around. Did I get lost several times? Yes. Is it okay because I don't know all of Diego's friends? Yes. So it was a win-loss, but I had a really nice time. I got a bunch of, like, cheap comics. There was a bunch of cool stuff to look at. I got some photos. I filmed a TikTok that flopped. I had a it did. It did, it flopped. It's funny because I'll make, like, a meme on TikTok, and it got, like, 13K views, and I'll put, like, effort into a video, and it'll get, like, 50 views, and I'm just like, "Ugh, whatever." But, I have statistics. Are you ready to hear the most seen cosplays at this con?
Hit me with it.
Okay, this might be obvious. The first place, because I wrote these down, like, how many times I saw them.
Hmm.
First place is Spider-Man Peter Parker.
Okay, yeah, that's always a common
Mhm.
one.
Second place is The Mandalorian Din.
I didn't see too many Mandos when I was there.
I saw a lot of Mandalorian. Third place was Harley Quinn, which is kinda obvious, like, you always see Harley Quinns. And then fourth place, Kakashi.
You
There's a
know,
lot of Kakashis from Naruto.
now that I think about it, I used to see a lot of Deadpools back in the day.
Mhm.
I didn't see too many Deadpools at all.
Yeah, I think Deadpool's kinda fading out.
That's good, as it should.
That's honestly no offense to any Deadpool cosplayers here, but anyone that dresses like Deadpool suddenly becomes like a method actor where they're like they feel like they can do anything and say anything because "Oh, I'm wacky Deadpool. Oh, I'm gonna say this and, like, grab you and I'm just like, "You're not fucking Ryan Reynolds. Please leave me alone."
Yeah, I've
I
always
don't
said I was like the character's cool, fan base is annoying.
Yeah, it's ups and down, but,
It's the My
there was
Hero of comics.
oh my gosh. That's why I don't interact with some fandoms. I just, like, enjoy it personally. I just don't interact with stuff, and I'm like, "I'm okay, I don't need it," but those were, like, the main 4. There was lots of different ones. I think, the most obscure costume I saw is that have you ever seen The Dark Crystal?
No, I've heard a lot of good things about it though.
Okay, there's a show that's really good and a movie I've never seen, so I can't speak on it. But basically, there's like these aliens with like wood heads. They're like weird tree aliens, and somebody dressed up as one. And I was like, nobody here is gonna know what you are,
You're like,
but I
that's for
respect
me.
the effort. Yeah. I was like, that is for me, and I appreciate that. I didn't talk to them at all, but I was like, oh, that's nice.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it was nice just walking around. There was a lot of booths. The panels were small, like, I think the largest one I think the biggest name they had was, I wanna say Elijah Wood,
Oh,
and,
for some reason, my brain heard that as the biggest cosplay you saw was Elijah Wood. I was like, somebody just dressed up as him.
no, Let me see. I'm gonna feel like a jerk. Sean Astin. It was Sean Astin who played Sam from Lord of the Rings
Uh-huh.
and Elijah Wood who played Frodo, and they were together. I think they were the biggest names there actor wise. So again, it's like the smaller con had smaller panels. Like I think they had a Nickelodeon Hey Arnold panel. They had like video game panels. It was like it was a bit more. It was like niche. I keep using that word because I feel like it's accurate, but it was a bit niche. And Saturday was busy. But how was your Sunday?
Hold on, I gotta
And why'd
sneeze.
you?
Talk.
Mhm. But I'm also interested to see. I only
I
went
sneezed.
Saturday because my friend gave me a ride, and that's the day they needed me to help record.
Yeah, you
Why?
dipshit. You were supposed
Mhm.
to meet up with me on Sunday, and you just
I
casually didn't text me.
I'm sorry. You know what? I'll be very frank. It did not come into mind.
Um,
I for completely forgot.
just to kind of like peek behind the curtain, like our
Mhm.
DMs. I'm glad I'm just, I'm forgettable, and the only thing
Oh
that
my
makes me
god.
stand out is my verified check mark.
Oh my god. I texted you this morning. I called you last night being like, "Are we gonna do a podcast?"
You were just like, I just need
Instead
to do
of
it. I just need to shut him up. Let's just throw him a few bones. That's it. He's simple.
I will let everyone know that I was trying to joke in our DMs, and I was just like, "Oh yeah, you're different from all my friends." And Lewis is just like, "You're just doing damage control. You don't fucking care about me." And I was like, "Of course I care about you. You're verified on Twitter. Why wouldn't I?" But you know what? He bullies me all the time, so I
Speak
can bully him back every once in a
Speaking of
while.
that, I was looking at my verified thing,
Mhm.
right? And I was like, huh, I guess I don't have to pay those $8 that like Elon was talking about. And so
Oh, that's because your industry.
yeah, no, so then I clicked on my verified thing. Okay, on
Mhm,
the web it's different. On
mhm,
Twitter web it says this account is verified because it's notable, blah 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 blah, right?
mhm.
And then on my phone when I click on it, it says this verified account. This is a legacy verified account. It may or may not be notable. And it says that for a lot of people that were verified pre Elon Musk. And I find that really interesting. That on the mobile it says that, but on the web it says that like, oh, I'm notable.
Mhm.
And anyways, that's neither here nor there. But
But yeah, I wanna ask, why did you choose Sunday?
so Sunday is just because I've been going to cons for since essentially I graduated from high school, you know? And
Mhm,
so I had went Saturday because like I was saying, I've been going to cons since like I was fresh out of high school essentially.
mhm,
And I was like when I was fresh out of high school, being a big Marvel nerd, being a big nerd was like a big part of my
mhm,
personality. And I would always get the weekend pass and then I would just always go hang out, take pictures, buy shit, you know?
mhm,
And so then when I started getting press passes, I was like, ooh, I'm gonna get it for free. And I just got burnt out, you know?
mhm.
I did too much of it within a short amount of time. And so then I was like, you know what, it's still fun. I enjoy going, but I'm just gonna go one day. And
Yeah,
my girlfriend felt the same way as me. Like and she was like, yeah, let's just go one day. And so that's why we went Sunday. We was like Sunday is gonna be like less crowded. Sure, there's not gonna be as many interesting panels, but we're still gonna see some cool. Like we like seeing cosplays. We like going to panels and like there was this one we went to. It was like it was like writing and animation, and it was supposed to like this whole panel was supposed to be like industry people giving you an insight on how to like be a writer in animation,
mhm.
and instead it just turned into a giant circle jerk of them complimenting each other.
Oh
And
god, I hate when that happens.
yeah, and I was like, I learned nothing.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I got like something in my throat or whatever.
You know what? We're peek behind the curtain. We're reviewing early in the morning, so everyone has the sniffles, so don't worry about it.
And there was this lady, older lady. She had this luscious white hair. I'm not gonna forget that. I loved her hair. But she
Mhm,
said something that I've only heard in like TV shows and movies as a joke. She was like an executive producer. I forget her exact title. And she was like, "Yeah, if you're a writer or something like that, if you've never wrote before but you have interest, I'll give you 5 minutes of my time. And if you do write this and that, I'll maybe give you 10 minutes of my time."
That's the most, like, hoity-toity, high and mighty shit I've ever
Yeah,
heard.
and then she was like, "And if you've written a few scripts, this and that, but you've never been published, this and that, I'll give you perhaps 30 minutes, and if you're really serious, I'll give you a shot." And in my head, I'm like, "This pretentious motherfucker."
Mhm.
And then me and my girlfriend walked away, and I told my girlfriend, I was like, "If you've piqued my interest, I'll give you 5 minutes of my time."
Oh my
And then
god.
she like, we that was just a joke between the 2 of us, like, for the like, it's till now, we've still even been joking about that. Like, she'll look at me, she's like, "I'll give you 10 minutes of my time." And then we just start laughing because 'cause I'm like, I've never heard of anyone say that, like, and sincerely mean it, you know?"
What I need you to do is that one of these days, I'm gonna text you like, "Hey, what's up?" And you're just gonna be like, "You know, if you're serious, I'm gonna give you 5 minutes of my time."
And,
Like, I'm gonna put in our group chat, I'm gonna be like, so D&D?" And you're gonna be like, "If you're serious, I'll give you maybe an hour of my
See,
time."
here's the thing though, that could go one or two ways. Everyone could just ignore it, or everyone's gonna like chime in and Rudy's be like, "Yeah, you know what? You're gonna get 2 minutes of my time," and Kevin's gonna be like, "You're gonna get 1 minute of my time."
I I appreciate them because I often don't know how to like, I'm not good at making comebacks on the spot.
Uh-huh.
Like, it takes me a mi sometimes I'll have some in, like, the barrel,
Yeah, I'll see you
but
just looking at my
uh
comment, and then like 5 minutes later, I'm like, "What's he doing? He just looked at
oh,
it."
yeah.
And
Sometimes I'll look at a comment and I'll put my phone down, like, whatever I'm doing, I'm driving or something, or not that I would drive and text, but I'll be like, I have to think about what to say, like, what would be the funniest thing to say? And then sometimes I just forget to say anything, and I'm like, "Oh shit, I forgot to respond." And Lewis will be like he'll leave, like, a comment like, "Shut up, Noah," and I'll just be like it'll be just sitting in our chat, like an insult, and, like, it's not an insult, it's just, like, how we joke, but I'm just be like, "I don't know what to say to this." Like, if a random person saw our chat, they'd be like, "Oh, this is bullying." Okay, but back to the panels, back to the panels.
so we went to that panel, and that I mean, I was hoping to learn. The only thing I really learned from that panel is just like write a script, write a script, and see how it goes. That's literally all I learned from that.
Mhm,
And because eventually, maybe down the line, I'm still undecided of what I want to do, like with my future, or like I'm
mhm,
talking like 10 years down the line. Like if I want to get into like narrative writing. So that's why I went to that panel. But my girlfriend's also a big like Hollywood nerd, so she was like, I just want to
mhm,
see different aspects of entertainment and how it goes. So we went for
mhm,
different reasons, her and I. But yeah, and so then after that, also too, I had went in with the intention because I a little ways back I saw this TikTok with this lovely lady filmed a series of TikToks. It was like interviewing cosplayers, asking them what they do for a living, and I was like, I'm gonna steal that idea, and I did. And so I went around and I started. I wish I remember her at because I would totally like give her credit, but I don't remember it at all. TikTok algorithm works in mysterious ways.
mhm,
Um, but I went around interviewing cosplayers. I got like 9 parts. And for my finale, here's a sneak peek. I interview a furry.
mhm.
She was a lovely lady. Um,
Oh, nice.
yeah. But the first person I interviewed was like this guy dressed up as Daredevil, and then like a
Mhm.
clone trooper, and that one like blew the fuck up. That's like the best video on TikTok I've ever done.
Oh, yeah, it has I'm letting you know it has 6K right now.
Yeah,
It's really good.
and it has like a little bit more than like 1,000 likes,
Mhm,
and
1,200.
yeah, and I've like essentially jumped up like 100, a little bit more than 100 followers on TikTok since like that. I've been
Mhm.
uploading like other videos since, but that's like the main cause of why I've jumped up a lot of followers.
And
And
I'm
so
looking at your latest interview, and that has, like, 800 views, that's really good.
yeah, it's doing that one's doing good too. And I'm
Mhm.
just concerned. I'm like, what am I gonna do when I run out of all these interviews? What's
Yeah.
next?
I don't
And
know, that's a good question.
yeah, and so I went there and I interviewed a bunch of cosplayers, and then something I thought was like super cool was I'm a big fan of Batman Beyond, and there
Mhm,
was a comic book of Batman Beyond Neo Year. It was a short six
mhm.
run issue, and the people who wrote it were at the con, and I just went there and like nerded the fuck out, and I was like, oh my god, you guys wrote Batman Beyond, that's so dope. And I bought a signed issue, and they're like, usually we charge for the signature, but since you're a fan, I'll just charge you for the comic. Um,
Mhm.
and we
That's nice because you
yeah,
know people will just come up to them and want the signature for, like, the resale value.
No, oh yeah, and I even told him, I was like, "If I would've known you guys were here, I would've brought my Neo Year #1." And he was like, "I tell you what, there was, like, this, collection of books called Batman Urban Legends,
Mhm.
and, it was a bunch of mini stories, and in that, he was like, "In Urban Legends is basically issue 1 of Neo Year." Because in Neo Year, Bruce Wayne it starts off like Bruce Wayne is dead and like Gotham City is literally alive and it's trying to kill Terry. So it just throws you into the mix. And they were like Urban Legends is like they show you how Bruce gets killed and they show you why the city's alive. So this is like the prelude to our comic. It's like the unofficial #1. So here you go. You still got a Neo Year and I just paid for the comic and they both signed it and they were super lovely people.
That's awesome. I love
Yeah,
that.
it was super tight. And then we walked around. That I think that's all I bought. And, my girlfriend was like she finally it finally clicked in her head. She was like, "This is just a giant swap meet." I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah,
I was like, "Yeah, that's all it is. It's just a swap meet with people dressing up in costumes."
it's a costume swap meet, but they have, like, actual, like, stores here and stuff.
So, yeah, that was it, and then, we were there the whole day. I
Mm.
ran into a buddy of mine who I only see at convention, so it was nice to catch up with him, and, I think that was it. Yeah, that was pretty much my con for the most part, and then afterwards, my girlfriend and I went to go get some food in Little Tokyo, which is, like, really nice.
That is nice.
But
Where'd you get at Little Tokyo?
I forget the name of the spot, but, callback to a few episodes ago,
Mm.
it was the same place we went after we went to the Blockbuster bar, but she was, like, shit-faced and, like, drunk, so she didn't remember eating at this place, and then I told her, I was like, "This food's fucking good," and it was still as good as it was when I had it the first time, so it was great. It was really nice, and then I was kinda jealous of her because she was like, "Holy shit, this is good," and I explained to her, I was like, "I don't wanna sound like all, like, like hipster
Mhm.
or, like, like, 'Whoa, man,' but I was like, you literally got to try the same food for the first time again. Not many people get to have that experience." And I was like, "I'm kinda jealous of you in that sense, where you've had it twice, but basically this is your first time all over again because you have 0 recollection of, like, eating that food." So I thought that was, like, a nice kind of, like, way of looking at things.
That is nice way of looking at it. I appreciate that. It was my first time ever eating at Pizza Kitchen the day I went too, so I guess we had similar experiences.
But yeah, that was my Comic Con. I have a few more TikToks in a pipeline, and, yeah, that was it right there. But, yeah, so what do you wanna talk about now? 'Cause we got a few other things.
Well, I feel like we wanted to touch on you and the Game Awards and who won, but I wanna do a quick rant, just a tiny little baby rant, little baby thing about the fact that, Wonder Woman 3 is not moving forward.
Here, Noah, play her theme song in, Remembrance.
Okay.
Out of mouth. And then
No.
you have to do her impersonation too.
What? I'm gonna get canceled.
You've done it so many times already.
I am Diana of Themyscira. But basically, Wonder Woman 3 is not moving forward, which is interesting because I feel like with the addition of James Gunn and his partner, who's producing in charge of the DC, they're kind of they're finishing all projects and kind of wiping the board, it seems like, of all the like Snyder characters. I just call them Snyder because it feels like they kind of drag there. And I think he's going to take the characters that he likes. Like Margot Robbie's probably fine. John Cena's probably fine. I don't know about Black Adam at all. Probably not.
Yeah.
But probably not. But I'm conflicted because I think um it's hard to sometimes talk about Wonder Woman because there's a lot of misogyny in the geek space. But I think like pushing all that side, I think it's a very solid movie.
Mhm.
I think it's in fact I enjoy it. Sometimes when I need inspiration, I go to the scene on YouTube where she's like blocking the bullets and walking for the first time.
And then
I'm
you,
just like,
like, you tell
yeah,
your friends, "Shoot me! Do
yeah.
it!"
And then I have like little like Kohl's anklets on my arms that I'm trying to block the bullets with. And then I just But basically, it's sad because I'm gonna ignore the politics behind Gal Gadot and all that, but I
Wait,
think
what politics? I
well, she's a supporter of Israel. She's a big Israel person. Uh, I'm not gonna get into, like, the politics 'cause I'm not the one to speak on it, but, she kinda in the war in the whole, like, Free Palestine movement,
uh-huh.
instead of speaking on that and, like, the atrocities and war crimes being placed over there, she's kind of just like, "Oh, I am sending love to people, everyone on both sides."
Mm.
Like, "Oh," like,
Okay,
and you
okay.
know
She
what?
did the
She's
politician thing.
yeah, you know what? The thing is, though, she did military training, like, she's from that place, and I'm just like, I get it. Like, I'm not gonna it sucks, but what are you gonna do? But the point is that I think that's one of the roles she was actually really good in, out of
Mhm.
everything she's been in, and I enjoyed the first one. The second one, not the greatest movie. There's some good stuff in it, but it's kind of bad, and I kind of hate it for lots of reasons. So I'm conflicted because I want more Wonder Woman, but whatever Wonder Woman they would do probably wouldn't be good, if that makes sense. Uh, the rumor going around right now, is that, the script for, Wonder Woman 3 would involve Steve Trevor getting resurrected through the Lazarus Pit, and then the League of Assassins using him as, like, a super weapon to attack the Amazons, which is just like,
That sounds bad.
I don't like that. I
That sounds
mean,
real bad.
I get that Gal and Chris have, like, really great chemistry, but it's just you gotta let the character go. You
Mhm.
gotta let him go. Come on.
Or at
You
least
gotta
kinda do what they did in, like, Avengers with, like, Steve looking at
Mhm,
Peggy, like, you just see a picture of her. That's it.
mhm. So it's just like, I don't know, you gotta let her go, and honestly, if they if they redo the whole DC universe, I guess that might be good as long as they have it under, like, a singular vision. It's because it's been all over the place,
Mhm.
and I'm not sure what the future holds, but, fingers crossed it turns out well. James Gunn seems to be knowing what he's doing, so I don't know.
I love the idea. It's like, "I'm canceling everything but the stuff I've done."
Yeah, basically. But you know what? When that god awful Flash movie comes out, they have a story reason because the whole point of him running back in time and changing the past is to, like, reset the board, so to speak. So I guess
Mhm.
that's their reason. So whatever comes out, they can be like, "Oh, the Flash, we did it. New universe, new
But
universe."
you know what though? I think, DC
Mhm,
fans aside, it's like how you feel about DC fans, how I feel about DC fans is how you feel about Xbox fans. I'm like, you guys
mhm.
just need a win.
Yeah. Exactly, I'm like, "You guys, honestly, you need something. Dear God, we've been suffering for so long."
But at the same time, I feel like I'm like, maybe this is kind of necessary because it's
Mhm,
been like opinions aside, like the
mhm,
Snyderverse, like his Snyder cut only
mhm.
like complicated things within like the DC like
And it
the
divided everyone
yeah,
even more.
it was like the last Jedi of DC of the DC films.
Mhm,
And it was just there was so like we didn't get we didn't get we didn't get any Henry Cavill as Superman.
mhm.
And it like what scenes we did get as Superman was like silhouettes or like literally a body shot or something like that, you know? Like no
Mhm.
Batman. Is everything's just been like and then all like the bullshit that that Cyborg the actor had to go through.
Oh, yeah,
And
poor Ray Fisher.
there we go, that's his name. I like how do you recover from like everything was just kind of doing its own thing, you know? Like there was hardly any cohesive story. And I get it, like not everything has to be the MCU, but
Mhm.
it's very clear they were trying to be the MCU.
And it's just they benefit from a long-standing story.
Mhm.
But anyways, I just think if the DCEU moves forward, I hope that they do a Black Canary movie. That's all I have hopes for, but
The
they
bar is pretty
probably won't.
low.
The bar is in the Marina Trench. That's how low it is. But speaking of something more, DC does better at, video games. What is going on in that world?
Yeah, okay. So this was my first time going to the Game Awards, and I want to preface by saying I didn't go to press. I was not invited. I paid for my own ticket, but I had went there for two reasons, a
Mhm,
couple of reasons actually.
mhm,
The first and foremost is as everyone knows who listens to this podcast, I love
mhm,
video games. Video games are like a big part of my personality. So much
mhm.
so to where I work in the video game industry. And it's so weird to say out loud still, you know? And yeah, like I love video games. I could talk about them for hours, for days, for years even, you know? And I was like, okay, I want to go to this award show because I want to see what games are nominated for Game of the Year. And the Game Awards is hosted by Canadian supergiant Jeff Keighley's. And he
Shout out Jeff.
yeah, shout out Jeff Keighley's. And he essentially describes it as like the Oscars of gaming, which I have a few problems with that, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, it's a big night where, like, all the big the all like everyone who's a someone in the games industry attends that event. It's filled with press people, it's filled with developers, everybody. And then they go through the awards one by one, giving out awards for like best game, obviously game of the year, best soundtrack of the year, best narrative design, best mobile game. You get the idea. There's a category for a lot of different things. But what primarily gets people to tune in, like the common folk, I guess you could say, or the common gamer, is that at the award show, it is riddled with world premiere trailers. And that's the main lure to get like the masses in. So that way they could get like numbers and shit, you know? And it, one of the ones they showed off that I was really excited for was Jedi Fallen Order, or Jedi Survivor, the sequel to Fallen Order. That one was really really cool.
Shout
And
out Cal Kestis.
the Transformers game, it was like a CGI trailer, but that looked really cool. I've never been excited for like a Transformers game before until now. And but I went to the show, and I was like trying to like talk to the people around me and stuff, and like they were cool, but it was like it was those things where I was like, I don't know if like I kind of want you as a friend. It's cool to talk. You're cool to talk to as like.
Yeah.
And there's this thing too. I'm like it's an award show at the end of the day, so like dress nice.
Mhm,
Like, I'm not saying like dress like, all glammed out, but like, at least put on like a dress shirt and stuff, like look presentable.
mhm,
And it was just kind of funny to see people bring like their backpacks and just go in like some essentially like the pajama clothes and stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, this isn't the Oscar nights of gaming. There's no dress code. And
oh, yeah. That's what separates the professionals from the rabble.
and it was super like surreal just to kind of be there in person, because usually when I would watch the Game Awards in the past, I'm like, oh man, this is so fucking long, like, I don't want to be here. I'm not gonna watch this full thing. I'll just tune into the awards I like. But it's like kind of like it's like watching baseball in person. Like, baseball is a lot more fun to watch when you're there rather than watching it like
Mhm,
on TV. And just the atmosphere, like the environment was like so like raw. It was just like everyone there. I didn't know. I only knew maybe less than 1% of the people in the theater, like personally.
mhm.
But everyone there, we all had the same common interest, which was like our love for video games, and just seeing
For
it.
games.
Yeah, and just seeing everyone like get
Mhm,
super excited, like kind of laugh, be like, yeah, it was just so cool. And one of the things, I'm usually not one of those people where I'm like, oh, this was snubbed, this and that, but I do have to say this. Um, it was for best soundtrack or best music. It was something along those lines. I think it was score, whatever the music one was. It was God of
mhm.
War, Ragnarok, Elden Ring, and a few other games. Uh, God of War Ragnarok won that award, which I haven't.
The best score nominees were A Plague Tale Requiem,
Uh huh.
Elden Ring, Hellsinger, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and then God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah, I haven't played God of War Ragnarok too much, but if I can just go based off of the music in God of War 2018, I assume it's somewhere of that vein, right?
Oh my god, yes, you know what I just
Huh.
realized? Do you know how we make fun of Wonder Woman in Zack Snyder for having that song that's like,
Uh huh.
"Ah?" They have a similar song in Ragnarok.
Oh, I
They
can't
played
wait
it
to
at the
get to
beginning.
that.
No, in the beginning, they played it. They'll play it again at the end, but it's like, "In the air," and I just realized that, I'm sorry.
But I think like Plague Tale, I played the first Plague Tale, I haven't beat it, but the music in Plague
Mhm,
Tale was fucking great.
mhm.
Like, oof, this is like it makes gives me a chub just thinking about that music. That's how good it is.
I hated that. No, I hated that sentence.
And but Elden Ring music is just something else. Like say what
Mhm,
you will about like if you don't like Souls games or not, but like the music in that game is just fucking phenomenal. Like there's this guy you fight, his name's like Radon, and it's like he's like a literal giant you're fighting, and
mhm,
it was probably one of the coolest boss fights in that game because like you could summon a bunch of NPCs, and like
mhm,
you're riding on your horse. It's like the fight is very similar to like that scene in Attack on Titan where the commander is like, my soldiers rage, my soldiers ride, and you're like just running into like death.
mhm,
The boss fight is very similar to that, where it's like you summon all these NPCs to help you, and you guys are just rushing towards this giant, and he's like
mhm.
throwing meteors at you. He has this giant sword like slashing
Shit.
through you. You got to jump over it, and then once you get near him, he like does like this like meteor crash land, and he's like swinging across, and like all of you guys are just like fighting him together, you know, and the music's like dun 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 dun, dun, like just getting you
Mhm,
like pumped up, and you're feeling yourself, you know, you're like holy shit, like yes. And like that's just one instance, you know. And then like and also the final boss fight, the main like for the end, not the end game, but like the story boss before
mhm,
you officially beat the game, when you get the boss into its second form, the boss turns into like this watery like mystical beast, you know, like super elegant, like think
mhm.
you know, like it moves like butter through the air. And the music it's playing is so like I don't know how else to describe it, but just so beautiful, because like
Mhm,
you're fighting for your life, but it's like playing this soothing relaxing music, like okay, like you're here, you've done it, you know, just finish the job, just get to the finish line, you know. And I would purposely like not even kill the boss. I would just get to that point, run around just so I could listen to that music. And then like me and my friends were like, "Fuck, this music is so good," you know? And like
mhm,
the people I was playing Elden Ring with like are like giant like rapper heads, and like, you know, they don't listen to this kind of music, and for them to be saying like this music is good kind of says
mhm.
something, you know? And I genuinely thought they should have won music, the score of the year, or what I don't, I'm forgetting the specific name of that category, but I think they should have won that one for sure.
Score music.
Yeah, but everything else I agree with. What everything else that happened at the award show. I'm not gonna talk about that little kid because you know fuck him. But
Yeah, we don't need to give him the attention he
yeah.
wanted.
But I will just say this. As someone who is there, uh,
Mhm.
and the people around me too, we all thought he was a part of the team. So we
Oh,
were,
you thought it was like a stunt or something.
yeah, we thought he was a part of the team, and we were like, oh, that's fucked up. Like, why are they turning off the mic on him? You know? So like,
Mhm,
I like as someone who was there, it looked very different from like maybe like let's say like yourself, someone I don't know if you watched that part or if you watched
mhm,
it, but like that, you know?
mhm.
And then like,
I
oh, go for it, go for it.
I exclusively avoided it.
Okay, that's good, that's good. And all of us were like, what just happened? You know? And we were just
Mhm.
all, it was just all confusion. But yeah, fuck that kid. That's
Fuck
all.
them kids.
And so yeah, that was a big reason why I went though, as you can tell, just based off I was talking
Mhm,
about the video game music, how much I love video games. And I also one of my mentors, his name's Danny Pena. I've talked about
Mm,
him quite a few times on this podcast, I believe. Um, he had told me, he was like, "Hey, there's always this after party at Redacted.
mhm,
Everyone always pulls up. This is, uh, you know, go to the after party. You're
mhm,
gonna meet a lot of people there. I'll be there. Um, like just go. This is the place to be."
mhm.
And I was like, okay. A message, and it was funny because I messaged him a few times on Discord. I'm like, hey, are we good? Left me on red. I messaged him
Uh,
twice. I messaged him twice. Okay, I don't want to say like I blew him up, but I messaged him one day, didn't get back to me. I messaged him another day, didn't get back to me again, and I was like, oh no. And in my head, I was like, oh, he's gonna introduce me to these people. You know, I'm gonna kind of be like his Pokemon, his shiny toy. He's gonna be like, hey, do you know Luis, kind of thing. That was not the case. He just gave me the information at hand. You know. And
mhm,
I was like, okay, fuck it. I could respect it. He all that information is more than what I could ask for, you know? And
mhm,
so I as the event is like ending, I was telling my girlfriend like leading up to it, I'm like, I'm fucking nervous cuz like I don't want to like just walk up to these people and I don't want them to think I'm blowing smoke up their ass or anything, like I'm kissing
mhm.
ass, you know? I was like, it's this fine line you have to walk between
Yeah.
like being
You
sincere and like networking.
mhm. You gotta be, like, respectful, but not, like, kiss ass.
Yeah.
Mhm,
And
so that makes sense.
And she was telling me too, she was like, "Don't fanboy, whatever you do." I fanboyed so fucking much with all of these people I've met. And fun fact, as you guys can tell if you're watching this on YouTube or like Spotify or whatever, I met the voice actor of Kratos. And the guy, like, he was just like standing outside of like the bar area,
Mhm,
and he was just taking pictures of people. And I was like, he looks like he's getting ready to dip, but he's just taking pictures. I'm
mhm.
gonna go take a picture of fucking Kratos. Like, what else am I gonna get this opportunity? Because if I
Exactly.
see him at a con, he's gonna charge an arm and a leg. I'm gonna do this for
Mhm.
free right now. And he was just like the coolest guy. Like, I was like, oh, he's super sweet, you know?
That's great to hear because, you know, these times where I feel like you can they're these people are always kind of advertising and selling themselves, but it's nice, like, he was probably a bit more relaxed and he could still be like he seems like a good guy is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And
You know, and shout out to him for winning,
it was like best performance.
yeah, exactly, so for God of War, so
What I
congratulations.
thought was funny, during his speech, they were trying to play him off like they were playing music. And like whenever like someone was giving a speech and they were like playing too long, like talking too long,
Mhm.
they would play that music to like get them out. Like, to play them out. But he talked for like 20 minutes when it felt like, and it was so fucking funny. And every time after, because he was the first one they played the music on, and every time afterward, you could just kind of see the crowd collectively like flinch or like cringe a little bit as soon as the music. I'm like, oh man, why you playing them off? This is their moment, you know?
You know what's interesting that I find interesting just, about the best performance? You know who also was, up who also had a nomination?
Who?
Sunny Suljic,
No,
who
Atreus,
plays
right?
Atreus. Yeah. So I thought that was funny. I was like, Atreus versus Kratos in best performance.
That is, that says something though. If like they're like neck and
Mhm.
neck, right? Like I can't wait to see what this kid does in like the future.
Oh, yeah. He was born in 2005.
God damn,
I
hey,
know, right?
uh, I did- I'm not gonna say the joke I usually say about rich kids, but yeah, he's a
Mhm.
hard worker. I'll keep it at that.
You know what? Yeah.
Yeah, he
Good for
deserves it.
him.
Yeah, he deserves it. He's a deserves. I'll leave my jokes aside because it's in poor taste, but yeah, but yeah, okay, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I saw him right there, and then like as soon as the game award show ended, because my girlfriend was watching it,
Mhm.
and she was watching it at home, and she was also doing homework, and she texted me. She was like, "This is why I love my girlfriend." All jokes aside, she was like,
Mhm.
"Just breathe. Don't forget, you're here to like network, but you're here to make friends too. So like you got this, you know." And I was like, "Okay, I got this."
That's nice.
Yeah, super sweet. And so I went to go pee, and then afterwards I was like kind of looked at myself in the mirror. I was like, okay, I kind of gave myself that little like mini monologue in your head, like hyping yourself up, and I was like, okay, I got this. I go to the event, and then I see a developer of a game that I really enjoyed that came out this year called As Dusk Falls, and
Mhm.
I'm working on a feature. I'm gonna be super vague on purpose. But I'm working on a feature that like heavily centers around that game, and I was like, oh shit, the lady here is like one of I don't know if she is the
Mhm.
head, but she's one of the heads of the studio because she went up there and accepted the award on behalf of them. So I'm like, oh shit, she's like right here just smoking a cigarette outside, like what the fuck, you know? And then
Mhm.
which I thought was this is where like things take a turn because I'm walking around the bar and I'm walking around the after party. I don't really know anyone, you know? And so I step outside and then that's when I see the girl and I'm just like, okay, how am I going to approach this? I don't know a lot of these people. And so then I see this guy. He's wearing this red suit, super nice, and it's themed around this game that just came out called Cult of the Lamb. And
Mhm.
I tell him, I'm like, hey, dude, that's a really dope suit. And we start talking. He's like, yeah, man, I'm just trying to like, go viral on social media for the team, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, I was like, do you work in the industry? And he's like, yeah, I'm the community manager for Cult of the Lamb. And he's like, hi, my name's so and so. I don't want to give his
Mhm.
information out. And then I'm like, oh, hi, so and so. My name's Luis. And we just start talking, and then
Mhm.
he meets these other people, and they're like devs, and they're like there's one of them was like she's a voice actress, and she's like in Persona. She's in Persona 5, she's in Final Fantasy 7 remake, she's in like in a lot of games. And he's like, hey, I'm gonna go grab something to eat with these guys, do you want to come with? And then they
Mhm.
introduce me to like all of these other developers and like people who are like doing PR work, people who are voice actors, and I'm like, what the fuck, like I'm over here just kind of like eating a burger with people who make video games for a living, like
Which is awesome.
yeah. And I'm just like, what, trust me, the imposter syndrome is kicking in at this point a little bit. But I'm like, play it cool, Louis, play it cool. This is why you're here. So I start exchanging information. I tell them all, I'm like, hey, you guys are on Twitter, right? And so we start following each other on Twitter, and we eat a little bit, and then we head back to the bar because it
Mhm.
wasn't that far from the restaurant we went to over there. And so afterwards, um I'm walking around, and then the guy I was talking to, the community manager, he's like, hey, let me buy you a drink. I'm like, you sure, man? You don't have to. And he's like, nah, let me buy you a beer, it's all good. So me and him enjoy a drink together. Afterwards, he meets a bunch of people, and then he's talking to this lovely lady. She's from the UK, and I'm blanking on her name, but she was like, yeah, she was like, you saw that Transformer trailer, right? And I was like, yeah. She was like, that's my baby right there. I'm working on that. And I'm like, I'm like, what?
What?
Yeah, and I'm like, what? And I told her, I didn't name drop Rudy, but I was like, my friend is this giant Transformers, right? And I was so excited for him, and I saw that too. She's like, oh, that's so cool to hear. And she was like, the game, like we're working on it, we're all excited about it. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. And then it was just like super, super like dope. And what happens is that as the night goes on, I see this guy. His name is Timur Hussein. Now, Timur, I don't know his exact title, but he's not the EIC, but he's high up there in the chain of command. He might be EIC, I forget. Um, you know,
Mhm.
can you look it up on Twitter? Can you look him up on Twitter? Like I think he has it in his Twitter bio.
Yeah, sure.
But he is like high up there on the chain of command when it comes to GameSpot. And as you guys listening may or may not know, I am a freelancer for GameSpot, and he's like a big guy in the games industry. And so I had told myself, if I see Timur, I'm gonna go introduce myself to him, try to talk to him a little bit. And I see him pull up with like some of the GameSpot staff, and they're all looking like pretty fresh. And I tap him on the shoulder. I'm like, hey, are you Timur Hussein? And he looks at me and he's like, you're Luis, huh? And I'm like flustered. Oh,
Oh my god.
I'm like, oh, I was like, I don't remember
Mhm.
if I said you know me, but I was like, or if I played off, I'm like, yeah, I'm Luis, but I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, what were you gonna say?
He's managing editor.
Managing editor. There we go. Okay, okay.
He's part of the editorial board.
Yeah, so he's like, and for those who are unaware, like the journalism lingo, that's like second, third in command. Like you're high up there. And
Mhm.
so and me, I'm a freelancer. I'm like Piquito, very, very at the bottom of the food chain. So for him to know me, and I'm like, oh, and he was like, yeah, you're Luis. Like we've talked on Slack a few times. I've seen you, I've seen you post your work and stuff. And I'm like, oh, Tamor knows me. Oh my god. And so then we're chit chatting. He was like, oh, like it's so cool that you're here, this and that. And I was like, yeah. And I explained to him, I was like, yeah, Danny told me to pull up. And he was like, Danny's here somewhere. So if you go see him, and I was like, yeah, I was like, he told me to come here and network and like just mingle. And he was like, trust me, he gave you some solid advice. This is the place to be right now. Go mingle. I'll see you around tonight. I'm pretty sure we're gonna talk again once or twice. Just go meet people. And I'm like, all right, for sure. And so then I'm walking around, I'm meeting people, and the it's like the game. Everyone was kind of like in their own little cliques, so it was also like very weird, like kind of just like having to introduce yourself, like wait for them to finish talking, be like, "Hi, I'm Luis," you know. And so what had happened was for the team of As Dusk Falls, I saw the lady again. And then cause, I had saw her before I had went to go, like, to the restaurant, and then when I saw her again, I was like, "Hey," I told her about my pitch, and she was like, "Take down my information and give me your information. We're gonna make this happen." And I'm like, "Ah!" You know? And so I was
I'm just like, this is incredible. This I don't even know what to say.
yeah, and I was like, "Ah!" And so I was just so crazy that, like, that happened, and then, so then later on, yeah, I'm kind of going. We're running a little bit late, so I'm kind of trying to speed up the story a bit. But what had happened was like I ran into like big people in the industry, like Greg Miller. Like I talked to
Mhm.
him for a little bit. Super nice dude. Like I even tagged him on Twitter, and he retweeted the picture I tagged him in. I talked to him for a bit, and then what something I thought was really kind of funny was like there was a lot of PR people there, and I'm pretty sure I've told you this story, but I'm just gonna say it for the audience. I
Mhm.
was talking to this PR guy. His name's Zach, super cool guy, and what had happened was, everyone at this point had a few drinks in them. Like everyone's a little buzzed, and we're talking, and he was like, "Yeah, man, like you seem like a cool guy." I explained to him who I am. He tells me who he is, and then like as we're talking, he like puts his arm around my shoulder, and he's like, "Bro, is that Cal Kestis right in front of us?" And I turn around. Sure enough, it's the actor who plays this Cal right there, just chilling. And then,
Uh, Cameron Monaghan.
yeah, it was Cam.
Monaghan.
It was Cameron just right there with his lovely girlfriend partner, and
Mhm.
they're just chilling. And I'm like, hey, bro, let's go talk to them. And he was like, no, man, I'm too drunk to go talk to them. And I'm like, well, if you don't go talk to them, I'm gonna go talk to them. And he was like, well, if you go, then I'm gonna go. And I'm like, all right. I was like, come on, let's go. And so then I talked to Cameron, and I'm like, hey, man, I'm a big fan of your work. I saw you in Gotham and just fell in love with you. Like, you're super badass. And then
Mhm.
like, I love your character in Star Wars. Blah blah blah. And then like, I even told him because like every year for Halloween, he like cosplays as something really cool. And I
Mhm.
told him, I was like, I don't want to sound weird, but like I always look forward to your Halloween costumes because I was like, I know like one year you did the Matrix and then this year you did like Snake from Metal Gear Solid. And he was like, it's funny that you mentioned that. He was like, because I saw Hideo Kojima in the back at the Game Awards show and he just gave me this nod of approval and just walked away. And then he was like, now I can die happy. I've peaked. And he said something along those lines, not verbatim, but he was something along
Uh-huh.
those like, now I've peaked in life. I could die happy. That was the best approval I could ever get. And like we just kind of laugh a little bit. We joked, and he was like, "Okay, I gotta go, but it was nice talking to you." And so I was like, "Bro, what the fuck?" And then as soon as he leaves, the guy Zach, he was like, "Bro, we just shook hands with Cal. We just talked to him." And I'm like, "Right, isn't that so fucking cool?" He was like, "Bro, like, thank you for giving me the courage to go talk to him." And I'm like, "No problem, man, no problem."
I love that. That's great.
And there was like some other. I'm gonna keep this part like just super vague on purpose. Um,
Mhm,
but there were some other people I was talking to who were like, um, I could potentially help you further your career a little bit more.
mhm,
And I was like, "What?" I'm paraphrasing, of course. And I was like, "What?" And then they were like, yeah, like I can't like no promises, but I can do my best to help you." And they were like, here's my business, here's my contact information. Hit me up on Monday and I'll see what I can
mhm.
do." And I was like, "You're awesome. You're fucking awesome." So that I'm really excited to see if that comes to fruition, or at the very least, whatever happens out of after, like, because of that is already more than what I could ask for. And I thought that was like really, really cool. And that was something I was super excited about. And I think probably like the last few things, like it was super crazy because like there was people like they were part of like Funhouse. They were like they're a YouTube channel and like a business owned by Rooster Teeth. There's a guy named Bruce Green and like a couple of other people, and I'm like, damn, like I
Mhm.
was talking to him, and I told him, I was like, hey, I was like, can I talk to you for a second? And he was like, yeah, what's up? And I was like, it's so crazy that like I'm in the same room as you because like I grew up watching like your YouTube videos, and like I read a lot, not read, like I was like I watched a lot of your reviews on video games and stuff, and I was like, you and your team inadvertently played like a big part of me wanting to become a journalist. And I was like, if it wasn't for you guys, there's a good chance I wouldn't be a journalist, because like that was always in the back of my head because of you guys. And I was just telling him, I was like, I got a bachelor's degree and now like I'm freelancing, and I was like, it's crazy that like obviously like I'm not on the same level as you, but like we're within the same community of people. And he was like, what, man, that's like one of the coolest things anyone's ever said to me. It's super flattering. This, and it was like so nice just to kind of like, they say like don't meet your heroes, but like in this sense, like I did, and he was like super nice, like one of the sweetest people I've met. And
Mm, that's nice.
yeah, that was like super super cool. And that like that whole that like I didn't even realize too.
Mhm.
I was gone from like 3 in the afternoon. I didn't get home till like 1 in the morning.
Oh, that's like 8 that's like an 8-hour shift right there.
Yeah, I was gone all fucking day. And it was just so like surreal. And there were
Mhm,
even like people too, like the G4 thing. Thanks for reminding
mhm.
me, Noah. Um
I did not.
that
I know.
But there were some people who I follow on Twitter that work on G4, that
Mhm,
used to work at G4. RIP G4. That used to work at G4, and I introduced myself. I'm like, "Hey, you're so and so, right?" And they're like, "Yeah, who are you?" And I was like, "Oh, my name's Luis. We follow each other on Twitter." And they were like, "Oh shit, that's so cool." Blah 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 blah. And we were just kind of like shooting the shit, and they were telling
mhm.
me about like G4, and like for those who are unaware, G4 got shut down, and like in one of the most fucked up ways possible. And
Yeah, they literally found out on Twitter. Like,
yeah.
that's I hate when that happens to people. Like, send it's not hard to send out an email.
And you
It's
personally
not
know
hard.
someone who worked at G4, your friend,
My friend Gina Versa.
who you went to go help them with their podcast, well, not their
Mhm,
podcast, their panel.
mhm,
And so I was talking to them, and then
mhm,
the the boyfriend, well, I don't know, like the partner, the male that
mhm.
because I was talking to the lady. I don't know how to. I'm saying this awkwardly. I'm
You're gonna
sorry.
say they're
Yeah,
friends.
no, but they were like boyfriend girlfriend. I don't
Oh,
know.
just
They
say
were,
partner.
yeah.
Just say partner then.
Well, the male approaches me. Why am I saying it like I'm a fucking cop? Anyways, the guy, the guy tells me, he was like, "Hey, do you want a G4 pin?" And like he
Mhm,
pulls it out jokingly, and I'm like, "Wait, what the fuck? Are you serious?" He was like, "Yeah, man, this is a relic to the past. Do you want it? I have a couple of G4 pins that I've just kind of been giving out." And I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I want a G4 pin." And he was like, and I have it in a wrapper still, and it's like fan memorabilia G4. And it
uh-huh.
was just like we were both kind of laughing about it, but also saying like, "Oh man, that's fucked up."
Yeah.
And but it was like super sweet because like I was talking to like both of them, and they were both telling me like, I was explaining to them, I'm like, yeah, like I'm still like super new to this industry. and they're like, "You're doing a great job already." Like they were both telling me, and I heard this a lot. This was a common thing I heard from people. And they were like, "You're super approachable. You're super friendly. You're well spoken." And I could just tell, like, if I had hiring ability, I'd probably hire someone like you. If I could, I'd hire you because like you seem like a really
Mhm.
nice person to work with, and that's what we look for at the end of the day. Someone who
Humble brag.
well, not I'm not humble, but it made me feel really good, just to kind of get this
Yeah.
because like
Yeah,
as of
you get that validation from someone in your industry. It feels nice.
yeah, and like just as of
Mhm,
late, I've been kind of like battling some like imposter syndrome, which I think
mhm,
is common across all fields. I think everyone gets that. And they were just all kind of telling me like, "No, you deserve this. You've been working hard. Like, good job." And I was like, "Oh,"
mhm,
like it just felt so good. And then like at the end of the night, I saw two more again, and
mhm,
I had told him I was like, "Hey man," I was like, "I don't want to take up too much," because he was like, I kind of like went out of my way to go talk to him because I kind of
mhm,
like interrupted him a little bit. And I told him, I was like, "Hey, I'm sorry. I know I'm interrupting." He was like, "Nah, like, what's up?" And I was like, "It was great talking to you. It was great meeting you in person, but
mhm,
I'm gonna kick rocks right now. I just wanted to say it's nice to meet you." And he was like, "Of course, man. Like, I'll see you on Slack. Get home safe." And
mhm.
I was like, "Man, that's so fucking cool." Like, the big tuna, who I've only talked to maybe like 2 or 3 times, knows me. Like, he recognized me.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, we don't even follow each other on Twitter. Well, I follow him on Twitter, but he doesn't follow me. And so like, but
You
like,
know what? You may not follow each other, but you may he may not follow you, but you know him on Slack, and that's what matters.
yeah, and I just thought that was like the coolest thing ever. And I called my girlfriend as I was heading back to like the parking lot, the parking structure, and she was like, "You sound happy," and I'm like, "Oh," like I was like, "I'll tell you all about it when I get home." And it was just like it was like surreal. And this kind of like helped motivate me. Like as I was at the Game Awards, I was just kind of
Mhm.
thinking, I was having like that anime speech in my head. I was like, I'm here, but I gotta go harder. I gotta like, I gotta push myself. I gotta keep going. I gotta keep going. Like you're right here, but there's so much more you could accomplish, you know? And I was like kind of reassuring myself. I was like, okay, I gotta keep on hustling. I gotta like, I can't hit the brakes now. I gotta go full throttle on the gas. And
Oh,
yeah, so it was just like that because those are the stuff that kind of goes on in my head. And
that's nice. I feel like I'm really happy you had, like, a really like, overall, a really positive experience from all that.
yeah, and it was like just phenomenal. And then like I linked up with Danny towards the end of the party, and he was like, because I saw him a few times, and he was like, I'm happy you're here." And then at the end, he was like, "Dude, you're doing the good work. Like you're doing what you're supposed to be doing." You know. And also too, I think like a lot of this just kind of comes down to luck. Like I am just at the end of the day lucky that I happen to live next in the Los Angeles area, and
Mhm.
I am lucky that all of these industry events happen to be in Los Angeles. And so like, I'm fortunate that I can go to these events now, and then but at the same time, like I have to put into work. I have to go do this.
Exactly. You're around all these people and you can interact and because some people they're working remote and they don't have the opportunity. So it sounds like you made the most of it.
Yeah, and I can't wait for like the next event because I'm gonna go and do the same thing all over again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been talking for a lot. Noah, I'm sorry. Do you have any comments?
No, I'm happy that you're doing so well.
Thank you, thank you. And again, I was super vague on like some people I talked to and like some stuff on purpose because I don't want to like give out information or anything like that. Um, but yeah, everyone in the games industry. Here's my only complaint. Okay,
Okay.
everyone in the games industry is fucking tall, Noah. There are no short kings or queens. Okay, I maybe saw maybe no more than 5 people that are about our height. I was
Mhm.
looking up all night long.
We're like the same height, aren't we?
Yeah, we're give or take the
We're like
same height.
5'5",
Yeah, on
5'5", 5'6".
a 5'6" on a good day.
Exactly.
But yeah, everyone is fucking tall, man. I was looking up to everyone all night, and like when I say they were towering over me, everyone was towering over me.
Oh my gosh.
But
I'm glad I wasn't there because I wouldn't handle that. I'd be giving looks to everyone all night and be like, Why are you so
It
tall?
was so funny too. I'll just say this before we like do our sign offs. When I was talking to Danny, he introduced me to his brother.
Mhm.
And funny enough, I've worked with his brother a few times because his brother works in PR. And I was like, "Oh, you're so and so," and he was like, "Oh yeah, like it's so cool to put a face to the name." And then he was telling like we were essentially saying he was joking around. He was like, "Yeah, my brother's so fucking tall." And I'm like, "I'm happy you brought that up because why is everyone so tall?" He was like, "I know." And I grabbed him and I was like, "Us short kings got to stick together." And he was like, "Yeah, we do." And it was just so funny.
That is I would fight everyone. I'm glad you kept your composure. I would just fight.
Just
I
start
would
throwing
fight
hands at
everyone.
everybody.
Yeah. Be like, "Get on your knees." But then, Kratos' voice actor would come up and just be like, "Sit, son." And I'd be like, "Okay. I'm
Nope.
fat. I'm fat." What's that meme where it's just like you see someone and it's like, "I'm fat."
But yeah, that was everything. Yeah, I do you have anything you'd like to say? I know, like I said, I was rambling a lot right now.
I would like to say that I'm very excited for we didn't really touch on it, but Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Yeah.
Very excited for that upcoming. The trailer looked great.
Hmm.
We didn't get too much story stuff, but it just looks like an extension of the first game, and the first game was great. So more of that,
Hmm.
please.
Just he's just all dark and gritty, running from the Empire.
Yeah, he
Give
has a beard now, so he's different.
and a few little scars on his face.
Has a scar. You know what? The thing is, I noticed people were posting pictures of like his face. I think it's just like the scars, over time scars develop. I think they just got worse on his face because they were already there.
They were? Oh, okay. I didn't even see
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Because I saw people comparing them and the scars were already there, but maybe because the engine is more complex, they were just able to like show them off more.
You know, my man went toe to toe with Vader and lived to tell the tale. Okay, you're gonna have a few scars.
Mhm. Oh yeah. Shout out to Vader.
But yeah. Anything else, Noah?
Nothing I can think of.
Next week we could talk about the Fallen Order stuff. We could talk more about like
Mhm.
stuff specifically at the Game Awards that caught your interest. I just kind of
Yeah,
wanted to talk about like my experience overall.
yeah, of course.
Okay, Noah. If people want to find you, where do you live, and what's your social security, and what's your @s on social
My
media?
social security is 8675309.
Hmm.
Uh, and I live in the H of the Hollywood sign. There's a little apartment there. You can find me there.
Oh, did you see the Horizon DLC thing? Oh no, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that
We'll talk
later.
about that later.
But I did not see it.
Okay.
Uh, you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at Noah is Garcia. You can find my photography work on Noah Garcia underscore photography. And sometimes I write for a publication, Daily 49er, that operates out of Long Beach. Lewis, where can people find you
People
and the people
can
you care about, the things you love, and what'll hurt you the most if you lose it?
Okay, so people can usually find me creeping in the Hollywood Bowl.
Mm.
Um just for no particular reason. I'm just getting up to, I'm doing something diabolical that you will soon all find. I'm just kidding. But you could find me on social media on Instagram and Twitter at Luis Gutierrez.
Mhm.
You can also find me on TikTok, which as I've been saying, I've been uploading a lot more now. At Joshua Joestar. And you can also find my work at gamespot.com where I do news and guides. And you can also find my work at IGN.com where I do guides. But yeah, if you guys have made it this far, thank you for listening. I appreciate you all, and I'm sure Noah does too.
Of course.
And yeah, any last words of wisdom? What's the homework for the week? Because last time I think it was consensual top, right?
All right, I'm gonna ignore that. The homework for the homework for the week is, to watch Lookism on Netflix.
Lookism.
Yeah, Lookism. Lookism. Watch it on Netflix, give them that numbers. I want a season 2, not for myself, but for my sister. Uh, what do you think the homework from you this week?
Hold on. The homework is I'm not gonna go a full episode without
So
playing
loud.
that.
So loud.
The homework for this week is just to go outside because I did this the other day.
Touch
Uh,
some grass.
well, that too, but go outside, And if you feel comfortable, walk around your block and put on some headphones and just listen to some of your favorite music and just walk around. Just enjoy. Just enjoy yourself.
Well, that's
That's
nice.
your homework. Something that's very feasible and it'll just relax you.
Yeah.
But until then, we will see you next Monday. Uh,
See,
or not, because we're like, yeah, that's we're that.
should we steal the Waffle Presses outro?
Go for it.
This has been Noah and Lewis, and we have been consistently inconsistent.
I hate that.
I
I hate that. That's like
like it. Shut up.
that's like the live laugh love you see in your mom's kitchen. Like no.
Like in like a really fancy font, like consistently inconsistent. Like
Yeah,
you'd hang it up on the
yeah, I hate that. But on
wall.
that,
Should we come up with a catchphrase then?
no, we should not. Okay, we're just gonna leave it. We got our own thing going. We're doing good.
Oh, I got it. I got it. Okay. This is Noah and Lewis, and we've been Geek Pressed.
I hate you, and we're gonna end it on that. I'll see you all later.
See you later.